your wheel is smoking. Hey, welcome back to the series. We're doing a 4-month-long trip along the east coast of Australia. The plan is to see as much as we can, go diving, and have fun. All the way working full-time as usual, taking the advantage of the fact that we can work from anywhere. As I mentioned in the last video, the plan was to leave on Saturday morning, drive for a part of the day, make an overnight stop, and then finish the trip to Jervis Bay on Sunday. Packing the whole morning, we were already running behind, and we left home around 3 p.m. Our itinerary would still work, it would just be a bit more exhausting. So about an hour later, we're driving on a freeway, and a guy takes over and starts waving in his rear view mirror for us to pull over. Honestly, I thought we would get robbed. But having a scary dog and a deadly wife that would protect us, I decided to pull over anyway. So we stop, he comes out and says, "Your wheel is smoking." Oh crap. We look at the wheels, and one of them is billowing smoke and stinks a lot. Now, we did service the caravan and the car before we left, so we were really expecting everything to be in order. So I called up the mechanic, and he suggested we drive slowly to the nearest service station and wait for him there. He was really helpful. On a Saturday afternoon, he got in the car and came, luckily it was only an hour away from home, and came to meet us to see what's wrong with the caravan. Diagnosis: short-circuited brake magnet. It's this little thing that actuates the brakes, and short circuit was causing it to brake intermittently, overheating the brakes and causing the grease to burn, which is what was causing the bad smell. So he was able to replace the magnet on the spot, but there was damage on the brake pads that was too big, and he said we couldn't do a 7,000 kilometer trip with that and we'd need to go back. So we went back on a Saturday evening. And on Sunday morning, he got to work replacing the brakes, the tires, the bearings. By the time he was finished, it was late Sunday afternoon. So we drove for some 6 hours to an overnight stop. It was very frosty. We thoroughly froze because it was frosty that morning, and because we didn't have any power, we couldn't use the heater. I don't think the dog minded at all. All in all, a pretty rough start to the journey, but we wouldn't give up. We made our way to Jervis Bay by Monday about noon. We just popped up the caravan open, connected everything, and got to work trying to make up for the lost time in the morning. The rest of the week was pretty uneventful. It was a beautiful place and the weather was nice, but we were working the whole day, which just didn't leave us with much time to go out and explore. The place we were staying was quite pretty. It was next to a creek that was flowing into the ocean just a couple kilometers further down, and it was fringed with mangroves. The mornings there were just stunning. My course started on following Saturday, and as expected, it was absolutely amazing. This being my first trip with Adam Stern, although the first one that was a full week one, I knew it would be great. The people that come on these trips, all of the instructors and everyone is just so fun to be around with, and it's always a great time. Now, a trip like this is all about freediving, and a lot of it is not very fun to watch. It's just people going up and down the line trying to go as deep as possible. Very fun to do, but not very fun to watch. The highlights of other fun things were the little trips we did after doing our line diving. One of those was visiting the seal colony. The freediving school we were going with, Wobbegong Freedive, link in the description, took us to a little cove where a bunch of seals live. These are Australian fur seals and are apparently more related to sea lions than real seals. They were plenty real for us, and they were very fun to be around. They'd swim up to us, grunt, and just have fun in the water. Some of them came really close to us, and it was amazing being with them in the water. They say these are all males in the colony and can grow up to 2.5 meters in length and over 300 kilos in weight. Females are significantly smaller, only growing around up to about 100 kilos. The ones we saw, I think, were on the lower end of that scale for males, and some were likely still pups. They were hunted for a long time and almost brought to extinction, but are now protected in Australia. The second highlight is just the landscape surrounding the bay. The rocks go perpendicularly out of the ocean for miles and miles. It all looks majestic. The rock faces are also all full of caves, some so big you can even back up a boat into them. Another great experience was diving with nurse sharks. Also endangered and protected, they're very timid, at least if you're not hunting fish, and tend to gather in groups in rock channels where they swim in the current to catch their food. Most of them are not very large, but some were in the 2.5 to 3 meter range, and it was an awesome experience to swim alongside them. Midweek, the weather got pretty bad and it was just raining non-stop. The crazy freedivers still decided to go out on a boat and do some line diving. It was definitely fun coming back, wondering if we'll make it back into the creek. Some people decided it wasn't worth it going out, but they were wrong. It was very much worth it. It also turned out our caravan was leaking, so for about a week of this rain, we were just collecting rain in the cups and picking it up with a towel. But luckily, after the rain stopped and I resealed the roof, we didn't have any more problems with the leaks. Aside from diving, we did a few walks in the area, but really didn't have that much time before moving on. We did see a red-bellied snake for the first time, which was very uninterested in us, but it was interested in staying in its sunbathing spot, so we left it alone. I don't think the dog would fare well in that encounter. All in all, we love Jervis Bay. There's so much to see and experience, especially when it comes to the ocean and generally nature. If you're in the area, make sure to say hi to the crew at Wobbegong Freedive and go see seals with them. For us, it was time to make a move to the next spot, Bulladilla, near Port Stevens, where some camel riding was in order. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time.